Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. So today we're going to talk about the universe. We're going to talk a little bit about what it is, how it works. And I'm going to tie in some different things to back up what I'm saying. Some things from, some of the texts that I've consumed over the years. You see, the thing that we have wrong here is, I understand that depending on how you look at or study life, I understand that, this is a difficult school. Earth school is difficult. Third density is one of the most difficult densities to master. And you have to master it before you can kind of graduate to the next levels. And, the interesting thing about it is that the third density carries a lot of heavy energy. And sometimes I think people misunderstand what the word ascension means. You see, they think ascension means that you're going to be like the Buddha or Jesus, and you're going to literally just ascend into heaven. And I'm not saying that that's not a possibility. The thing is when you start reading a lot of these ancient texts, you start seeing these things that are tied together in them, and you start to understand that if they didn't come from the same source, which, a lot of these come from different times and places on the planet, it's a likelihood that there's a grain of truth to those things. But, most people don't understand that ascending to the level of Buddha or Jesus in a lifetime, if you didn't already come to this plane equipped to do that, is a paramount thing. And so how do you use the universe? How do you understand it? How do you interact with it in order to make life better? Well, you begin to ascend above the heavier energies, above the lower vibrating energies. Because see, those lower vibrating energies, those are the things that really make things more difficult here. We know what those lower vibrating energies are: fear, anger, lust, control, all of those things that drag a person down. You experience these all the time. You experience these energies when you're going through a lot of change in life, usually because you're so used to having that energy in your life that you don't even realize and recognize when you release that energy that you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel better. The reason that I have this, and, I think when I think of some of the things I've read, like the Book of Tao, and it talks about flowing with life and how life is like a river. You flow with it. But then when you look out in society, what do you see? You don't see a lot of flowing. You see a lot of ego. And what is the ego? The ego's do regardless of where you're being guided or what you're being told. Do. Don't be present. Don't observe. Don't look for the signs around you in the universe that the direction you're going is the right direction. Don't accept that quote unquote gut feel that you have that says what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing. Ignore all those things. Just blindly do. You see, in this, there's a lot of people who talk about manifestation. And I believe in manifestation, but the reason we don't focus a lot on this is because manifestation is a key term and a key word that, people, it's like giving relationship advice, especially giving relationship advice when you've never been in a relationship. It's very one-sided. It gets you coming back for more. Because what happens is people gain things and they say, I manifested this and here's how I did it. And if you're not doing it, then pay me some money and I'll show you how. Or when you're paying the money, you're like, well, you're just not doing this right. You're not doing that right. You don't have your crystals. They're not in the water. You're not visualizing well enough. You see, all of those things are a trap. That's why I don't talk about this, because the purpose of the channel isn't to trap you into anything. It's to give you advice, real advice. Real advice, again, not to say that's not real advice, because I'm not trying to take anyone down, but advice that's seated in spirituality, that's seated in science, that's seated in psychology. And all those things, even having taken the time to have read some of these texts, they all say the same thing. You see, when you start to understand science from the quantum perspective, and you start to understand how this realm is really run by the quantum, and how to connect with the quantum, suddenly things start to evolve and change. Suddenly you start to better understand things like manifestation. You better understand things like money and relationships and the purpose that they bring. You start to really see and understand how we are all connected. We're all one. And the belief system that you're not is the ego. And what's important to understand about these things is that Scripture backs all this stuff up. All the ancient texts back all this stuff up. But see, some of the stuff that you're meant to learn by, you're not even, if you lock into a specific belief system, you're not even allowed to accept or see those things. Why? Because they're not in your book. You see, even if you're a Christian, you understand that there's an Ethiopian Bible, and I believe it has, I thought I heard it had 88 books, and then I heard the other day it had 82 books, where the NIV and the King James only has like 52. Well, why is it that it's okay for a group of people to get together and decide, out of all these things that were supposedly inspired by God, which ones get to make it into the book? Well, you're going to learn that in just a minute, because I'm going to essentially quote something that Jesus said from the Gospel of Thomas. It's something I heard not long ago, and when I heard it, I just immediately loved it. So in this one sense, Jesus essentially says, and I'll butcher it if I try to go exact, so I'm going to give you the kind of the quick paraphrase, and you're certainly welcome to go look it up. In fact, I encourage you to go look it up. Jesus said to Thomas, "Split a piece of wood, and I'll be there. Lift up a stone, and you'll find me there." You see, what Jesus understood as being connected to the all, as embodying consciousness, is that everything around you is you. Everything around you is creator. This is backed up in the quantum sciences. It says the same exact thing. Everything is energy. All energy is connected. The reason things look solid, like this sign, for instance, is because the energy is moving at a slower rate, which gives the illusion that it's dense. And when it has the illusion that it's dense, then what your mind is meant to do is your mind is meant to say, I can't put my hand through that because it's dense. It's an illusion. You see, whether you believe this is base reality or simulation, the same rules apply. And the thing is that when you start to understand these things, it takes you to a different place on the journey. The reason you go to a different place is because you start to understand that what I think, the way I think, what I believe, and the way I believe is truly up to me, and it is truly what empowers me. Now, some people are going to say that, oh, well, that makes you better than somebody else. No, nobody's greater than anybody else. Remember, we're all energy, and we're all the same energy. Better or worse, that is the illusion of the ego. That's created in the mind. But understand also that the ego was here to assist us to survive, to be to this place. In some ways, the ego can help us to achieve more when you're in balance with it. You see, the universe is a magical place. I told you this before, and I mean it. There are miracles all around. The thing is that you have to allow yourself to move out of the denser energies to see and feel the miracles. And when you do, guidance is simple. When you do, you can see where you're meant to go much more easily. Even in relationships. Sometimes relationships get hard. And when they do, you have to choose what do you want the relationship to be and how do you want it to evolve. But relationships don't fail because one person chooses to try to change things. No, relationships fail because both people aren't committed to adjusting things and changing things. Both people aren't willing to grow. Both people aren't willing to understand that love isn't just a feeling. It's a state of being. It's who you are. And that's why those things get difficult. Same in work. You know, you can go to work for a company and the CEO of that company is a very positive and amazing person who inspires the people around him. Well, what usually happens, those companies usually flourish. But then you can also go work for a boss in that company who is operating from his lower ego. And then that experience becomes an unacceptable experience. You can be in a difficult financial situation. You got to look at the world around you and all you see is lack, lack, lack. You see, that's part of what the ego likes. It's part of what the ego enjoys. Because wherever there's lack, then you can create attachment. And wherever there's attachment, then you can create cycle, sequence. The ego is like a living being, just like your soul. It doesn't want to go away. It doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to expire. So, just like anything else, it fights to stay alive. And it fights to stay alive by trying to cut you off from the universe around you. Trying to cut you off from seeing the beauty, the vibrancy, feeling the warmth, seeing nature as it flows, feeling the rhythm of your body as you flow with nature, feeling how you begin to calm, how the cortisol drops. You see, we've been told that the only way to make that happen is to go to earthly desires or to go work out constantly. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Working out can certainly help with stress. But it's amazing how a nice, beautiful, easy walk through nature can really bring you to a state of peace, bring a lot of clarity to your mind, and open you up to the infinite number of possibilities that exist out there. But what say you? How do you feel about that? Do you feel like the universe is interactive? Do you feel like if you ask the universe questions, it will answer? I can tell you from my experience, the answer is absolutely yes. Ask it a question, and then ask it to see some really impossible things, and it'll show you. In some cases, just like a video game. Some cases, just like a simulation. Knowing all this, why would you not want to breathe it in? Why would you not want to play with it, explore it, see its beauty, its wonder, and its vibrancy? As always, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Today is a good day. I am truly grateful. Until I talk to you again, peace, love, light. I hope you have the most amazing day.